Who doesn't like going fast? Whether you've got the need for speed or you're feeling fast and furious, you need an engine to deliver the power you need. There are cars with some seriously souped-up engines that will make you faster than ever. So get ready for some high-octane fun. Here are the top 15 most powerful engines. Number 15. The Rezvani Tank X. Starting off our list of the most powerful engines is, believe it or not, an SUV. And although the Rezvani Tank X looks more like, well, a tank, it's more of a sleek military vehicle than anything else. Sure, it comes with all the bells and whistles that would put James Bond's car to shame, like thermal vision, smoke bombs, tire-destroying caltrops, and even electrified door handles, just to name a few. But where the Rezvani Tank X shines is with its engine. This armored behemoth is powered by a 6.2-liter supercharged Dodge Demon V8 engine, making it the world's first 1,000-horsepower SUV. It fits into the hypercar category, which sounds like a term an 8-year-old boy came up with, but when put to the test, the Rezvani Tank X delivers. And when you go inside, a car like this has to have bare-bones metal seats, right? Nope. The Rezvani Tank X comes with luxury interiors, and each seat even has a gun rack. It may be a little over the top, but this big boy is also one of the fastest cars on the road, which is pretty impressive considering its size. Number 14. The Mercedes-AMG Project One. If you've got an extra $2.7 million laying around and looking to skip town fast, then the Mercedes-AMG Project One is just the car for you. The folks at Mercedes took a Formula One race car and managed to tweak it enough for the road, but that doesn't mean it's slowing down. The AMG Project One is packing a 1.6-liter turbo engine, which is a smaller combustion engine unit, but couples that with the other 4 electric motors in the car, and this thing is now working with just over 1,000 horsepower. And forget about going from 0 to 60, because this car is going to take you from 0 to 124 miles an hour in less than 6 seconds, and will eventually max out at 217. It's easily the most ambitious project that Mercedes have ever taken on, but it makes sense seeing as how Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton became part of the team. Because who better to tell you how to go fast than one of the best drivers to date? Number 13. The McLaren Speedtail. We're starting to get a little faster now. The spiritual successor to the 1998 F1 is the McLaren Speedtail. It uses the same driver-focused 3-seat cabin layout with the driver right in the middle of the action and the passengers well out of their way. But when you go as fast as this engine allows, you'll want to stay in the zone. Its gasoline and electric hybrid drivetrain gives the engine 1,036 horsepower, and the Speedtail is going from 0 to 186 miles an hour in about 12 seconds, and can reach a top speed of 250 miles an hour. This thing is going to weave in and out of traffic before anyone can even notice. And while it may not be the most powerful engine in the world, McLaren was slightly more concerned with the look and feel of the Speedtail. The car cost almost $2.5 million, but if you want one of these speed demons, well, you're out of luck, because only 106 models were made, and they all sold out immediately. Better catch up. Number 12. The Naran. The next entry on our list is so nice they named it twice. Not to be confused with the rock band Duran Duran, the Naran is named after the head of the company, Amir Naran. And when you're bold enough to name a car after yourself, then it better go fast. And oh boy, the Naran does just that. Naran wanted to take the experience of driving or racing in a GT3 vehicle to the road with his luxury 4-seater. This model comes complete with a 5-liter twin-turbo V8 combustion engine with 1,048 horsepower that'll take you from 0 to 60 in just 2 seconds. And with enough space in there for the whole family, Mom and Dad can hear the kids screaming in the back as they roar down the highway on the way to the supermarket. The top speed for the Naran clocks in at 230 miles per hour, but with only 49 units made available, this car just might be too fast to grab. Number 11. The Lucid Air. The next engine on our list powers a car that will make you feel like you're either in a dream or walking on air. Enter the Lucid Air from the European Lucid Motors. And while the name may come off a little soft, this car is anything but. This is an electric 4-door family sedan that's got enough batteries in there powering it up to take you for a drive over 400 miles on a single charge. But how fast do you want to cover that incredible distance is totally up to you, because the Lucid Air with a compact powertrain is still pumping out 1,080 horsepower. letting you go from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds and rip down the freeway at 168 miles an hour. It's certainly not the fastest car in the world, but it can and will outrun most electric vehicles on the market. It's a great option for any speed demon that wants to keep the EPA off their back. And for just $169,000 a pop, the Lucid Dream is not a bad option at all. Number 10. Tesla Model S Plaid. Eccentric billionaire Elon Musk has certainly made a name for himself in the last decade and put Tesla on the map at the same time. So to keep up with the stiff competition of ultra-fast electric cars, Musk put together the Model S Plaid. It's a family coupe that will save you a little more money than the Lucid Air with a price tag of $140,000. The Model S Plaid will go from 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds, can hit a quarter mile in less than 9 seconds, and has a range of over 520 miles per charge, with more than 1,100 horsepower. The Model S Plaid also has a max speed of 200 miles an hour, so you can zoom down the 2-lane blacktop without polluting the environment. It's a powerful little bugger with enough space for the whole family, and is most definitely a huge leap forward in fast electric vehicles. Number 9. The Hispano-Suiza Carmen Boulogne. We're seeing a rise in the consumer's desire for electric vehicles, but that doesn't mean that they have any desire to slow down, and the Hispano-Suiza Carmen Boulogne is a great response to that demand. In 2019, they introduced us to a car that was the perfect blend of luxury and hypercar performance, with some serious horsepower to boot. First, the Carmen has an 80 kilowatt-hour lithium battery that powers up its dual-motor powertrain to give drivers an impressive range of up to 250 miles before it needs a recharge. And while all of that is great, this is still a list of the most powerful engines. So how fast does this baby go? Well, tricked out, the Carmen has an 1,100 horsepower powertrain and will let you go up to 180 miles an hour and can jump from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. Plus, this car just looks plain awesome. This electric Hyper GT car has been outfitted with a retro look that calls back to the fancy cars of the 1930s. So everyone eating your dust behind you will think they've been hit with a blast from the past. Number 8. The Delage D12. Moving over to France, we've got the $2.3 million hypercar known as the Delage D12. This hybrid sports a spoiler in the rear, giving it that dragster look with a seriously expensive twist. The D12 is rocking a monstrous 7.6-liter V12 engine with 1,100 horsepower and is as close to driving an F1 racer in the street as you can get. The Delage D12 has a wasp-shaped body, so it's guaranteed to turn heads as it screams down the roads of Paris. And without any doors on the car, the roof opens up like a cockpit to let the driver in and out. It may be a little extreme, but it goes so fast that it may well resemble getting in and out of a jet fighter. It is a jaw-dropper for sure, especially when reaching a max speed of 224 miles an hour. It's the perfect car for when you need to get somewhere in a hurry, or if you just feel like going for the fastest joyride of your life. Number 7. The Aria FXE. Now we're really kicking it into gear. Aria may not be the most recognizable name in the automotive industry, but there's no doubt that they're trying their best to leave the competition in the dust. California-based design and engineering house Aria gave us the Aria FXE, which took notes on the Tesla Model S and Singer 911 to make something truly remarkable. It's another hybrid Hyper GT, but this one has a look inspired by the F-22 Raptor fighter jet. It's one mean-looking car, but is extra nice to anyone who chooses to pilot it. That's because it's powered with a combination of a mid-mounted 6.2-liter supercharged V8 engine, as well as a pair of front-mounted electric motors for 1,150 horsepower. That may be a bit of a mouthful to say out loud, but altogether it gives the Aria FXE the acceleration of the ever-popular McLaren P1 or Porsche 918, going 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds and hitting a nasty top speed of 220 miles an hour. Street racing may not be legal, but looking like a race car is just fine. Less than 400 of the Aria FXE were built, and since scarcity typically gives birth to demand, there are plenty of people willing to write that $1 million check to own one of these four-wheel screamers. Number 6. The Aston Martin Valkyrie. While James Bond loved driving around, stopping the bad guys, saving the world, and getting the girl in his Aston Martin, this next entry on our list has a little more than that in mind. Another hybrid powerhouse, the Aston Martin Valkyrie has one of the most insane-looking aerodynamic upper body designs ever seen. And while the appearance of the Valkyrie on its own is pretty loud, just wait till you hear the engine. Make sure you bring some earplugs if you're going to be hitting the streets with this one, It's got a 6.5-liter Cosworth V12 engine with 1,160 horsepower, all without the aid of forced induction. This amazing piece of British engineering is somehow street legal, so if you're lucky enough, you just might catch one sitting at a red light. But once that light turns green, you better say goodbye, because it'll be gone before you know it. The Valkyrie can reach a top speed of 250 miles an hour, and since the design team wanted to make the car as light as possible, they had to exclude certain parts you'd find on your everyday car, like the mechanical components that silence the engine. It's loud and it's proud. Number 5. The Zenvo TSR-S. While hybrid cars have been in high demand over the last decade or so, it's important not to forget about the combustion engines that are still powering most of the cars on the road. They're not a thing of the past just yet, and until then they still have a lot to show us. That includes the engine that powers the Zenvo TRS-S. It's pretty hard to miss this car too, because of its almost comically large rear wing and hydraulic struts that let it flip and flop in the wind as the car hits those tight turns on the track. It looks as goofy as it sounds, but when you've got a supercharged 5.8-liter V8 engine, looks don't always matter because you've got 1,177 horsepower to back it up. The Zenvo TSR-S is meant to be a race car for the street, and only 5 are made a year, so good luck picking one of these up. And even if you do, the odds of it ever leaving the garage look pretty slim, seeing as how everyone is going to want to go for a ride. But if they can handle the car going from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds and a max speed of 202 miles an hour without their minds exploding, then maybe they deserve to sit in the passenger seat. Number 4. The ELATION Freedom. We're kicking our engines into gear and taking a huge leap forward from here on out. Try and keep up. If you like gull-wing doors on your insanely fast car, then the ELATION Freedom is the one for you. With a name like that, one can only imagine what type of experience this car's engine can offer. This electric hypercar comes in with a powertrain that uses 3 motors for 1,427 horsepower. Blink and you'll miss it, seriously, because the ELATION Freedom goes from 0 to 62 miles an hour in just under 2 seconds and can reach a top speed of 260 miles per hour if you've got the gall and enough room on the highway. And good news, it can be yours for just under $2 million, so ditch the home you've been saving up for and buy this speedster instead. But if that's too much money and too much speed for you, the team behind the ELATION Freedom will sell you their much more boring version with only 700 horsepower for $300,000. Number 3. The Rimac C2. It may be spelled like a bad Twitter handle, but the Rimac C2 is an absolute electric beast. One of the fastest cars ever built, the Rimac C2 has a nasty 1,914 horsepower engine and will take you from 0 to 60 in 1.85 seconds. It's also got a top speed of 258 miles an hour and an impressive range of 403 miles per charge. Wow, good luck finding tires for this thing because it's going to rip right through them if you put that pedal to the metal. Does anyone need a car that fast? Probably not, but we'll take it. On top of the car being able to go ludicrous speed, it's got facial recognition door locks, a racing line, and a breaking point data for famous racetracks, and mood detection that will play music tailored to how you're feeling. But who needs to set the mood when you've got a car like the Rimac C2? It's hard to focus on any of life's troubles when you're going close to 260 miles an hour. Number 2. The Spark Owl. Don't think we forgot about Japan. When it comes to engineering and automotive technology, it's safe to say that they've got a pretty good grasp on things, so it should come as no surprise that they're taking the number 2 spot on today's list with the Spark Owl. This car moves pretty fast, so try to keep up. First, it's got 1,985 horsepower and can speed from 0 to 60 in, wait for it, 1.69 seconds, and has a max speed of 250 miles per hour. And the team at Spark says that all of this is possible with street-legal tires too. But the entire car is less than a meter tall, making it one of the lowest riding cars on the planet, so try not to hit any bumps when you're taking the Owl into hyperdrive. Before you add any options, the Spark Owl has a hefty price tag of about $3 million, and only 50 are being made because if everyone can go super fast, well, then it just isn't super anymore, is it? Number 1. The Lotus Evija. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, good golly Miss Molly. Leading the way in electric hypercars is the Lotus Evija. Say it with us, Evija. The Lotus Evija is the first production car to ever reach the 2,000 horsepower mark and will run you a solid $2.1 million if you feel the need to have your face melt from raw electric power. You can only drive this thing for about 7 minutes before the temperature starts to limit the performance, so enjoy it while you can. Obviously, a car with that much power will have absolutely no trouble going from 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, but it'll go from 0 to 186 miles per hour in just 9 seconds. That's about as long as it takes your average family car to reach highway speeds. But the Evija can allegedly reach top speed of 300 miles per hour as well, which is just mind-boggling, really. Because unless you've trained with NASA, your brains are going to scramble in your head at that speed. But it just might be worth the risk. Watch our Vehicles playlist for more top 15 videos about amazing vehicles. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best vehicle videos.